a great afternoon. I'm excited, a great lunch. We started off the morning with Tom and Brian from the EE team talking about CoilPak, talking about the next iteration of where Expression Engine is going. Lots of good questions, lots of good discussion. Excited to have some of you West Coast people starting to wake up. Lydia was on our session hangout there, and some of you guys over there in Caroline, New Mexico. We got people from all over today. And so I'm excited to kick off the afternoon session with Malinda. I'm going to bring her video up while I welcome her. But Malinda, I got to know Malinda last year, just through the job search community, that kind of stuff. And she was just great to talk to, great to get to know, really excited about what she's doing. She's probably been in tech for 20 plus years now, lots of Silicon Valley, that kind of experience, and just really leads a community of trying to help others find their place in the tech community, pivot their careers. This is a really hard time as far as trying to get a job, as trying to find people pivoting their career, pivoting what's next. And recruiters are just getting blasted with applications as, I'm sorry, I'm trying to let her in and my computer doesn't want to work here. So I don't know if it's hop in or if it's me. But yeah, but as recruiters are getting blasted with all these people being laid off, it's really hard to find your place. And how do you find a job in this time? So I'm really excited to have Malinda here. I'm going to go ahead and kick things off. I know Melinda's got a hard stop here just before 2 o'clock, and we want to accommodate that and be respectful of that. And I know everybody's anxious to hear what she has to say. So Malinda, I don't know if you were with us earlier today, but, you know, I'll say it again, Malinda and what she does with the tech community and those helping to find the next step in their career, whether they're looking to pivot careers or whether they're just trying to find that next position, they've been laid off. We've all seen all the news about layoffs in the tech community lately, been going on for the last couple of years, and it's just flooded the market with people looking for jobs, looking for what's next. People are confused, people are scared. Talk to many people, you know, you're trying to submit applications blindly on LinkedIn and you're just getting ghosted or you're not hearing anything back. And, you know, I've been on the other side of that right now. We're hiring for a position and we opened it up for 3 days for a QA position. And I had something like 1,400 applications coming through LinkedIn. So, you know, it's just not feasible. And I know Malinda pointed this out to me at one point in my life, that it's just not feasible to just blindly submit on LinkedIn and magically find that job. Because again, being on the other side of that, you're getting thousands and thousands of resumes. People just can't read everything. So I really appreciate Malinda and what she's doing in the tech community. I know she really cares about what she's doing. The community that she's built over a roadmap, I know they really care about each other. It's been great to be on that Slack channel and see people as they find positions, as they encourage each other and all that. So I'm going to hand it over to Malinda. Malinda, thank you again for being a part of this today and for joining the community. Look forward to hearing what you have to say.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here. And I agree with everything that we're talking about in the chat. The state of job search needs a lot of work. I'm going to go through and we're going to talk about this from our perspective as candidates and how we can simplify it. Do you want to make me a co-host so I can share my screen?
Tom, that would be on you.
Working on it.
Awesome. And what we're going to talk about today is how to build your job search out just based on your story and get your story out there to kind of get past the application process, the algorithms that are working against us. It makes me so upset that all of us have to think about, well, what keyword do I need to have today so that I have a chance of getting a job? So we're going to talk about some advanced job search strategy. And this is a communal session. Everything that we talked about, that we will talk about, are proven tactics that have worked for some of the toughest job search scenarios and biggest career pivots. As we go through this stuff, I'll be curious to hear everybody else's feedback and input on what is working, what isn't working, if you happen to have been job searching in the last couple of years. So your whole job search is going to come down to this simple tool that we're going to start with, your elevator pitch, which makes it a good time for me to introduce myself with my elevator pitch. So hi, everyone. I'm Malinda Coler. I'm the founder of Roadmap. I've been in tech and education for the last 20 years. Previously co-founded Almanac, valued at $120 million. And now I work with job seekers to land roles in tech. And that was my elevator pitch. I'm curious in the chat if anyone remembers anything that I just said. So go ahead and drop it in the chat if you do. Because the goal of this elevator pitch is for all of you to take away just one thing. And I always know what that one thing is. And for me to help get better at my elevator pitch, I need to see if people actually absorb it. So 120 million, yes. Okay, that's the big thing. And yeah, we picked up some other stuff as well. Amazing. Okay, everyone really, you all picked up the whole thing, which is just fantastic. I always like to ask that too, because when you think about your elevator pitch, remember that you're trying to go in and say one thing that people can remember. It's really hard for us as humans to absorb that 30-second introduction. So we want to keep it concise. So the way we build it out is you and I go back and we think, hey, what's the big thing I want people to remember first? Mine is at 120 million. I want everyone out there running around saying, hey, Malinda's this career tech leader. I don't know. You got to talk to her. She founded a company that's now worth $120 million. Go hang out with Malinda. That one memorable thing. You don't remember anything else, right? But for this thing to stick, we're humans. We need a little bit of context. I can't just go and say, hi, I'm Malinda Coler, founded a company valued at $120 million. It'll be a little bit more. So I have a little bit of context. Talk about some areas of expertise. This elevator pitch, remember, is a tool to start a relationship that can lead to a job offer. These areas of expertise can work in a couple of different ways for you. If you're looking for a job or a business opportunity in an area where you've held a title that shows your authority, you can just use that title. Oh, I've been in product and operations for the last X number of years. Recently, I did this big thing you care about with a big number that you're going to remember, and you're passing it back. If you are targeting a job where you haven't held a title that speaks to the authority, but you've been working in all sorts of related skill areas, then you can lean into those areas of expertise. I've been in customer-facing environments for the last X number of years. Recently, and then something with customers, right? I've been working with data analytics and processes. So go and figure out what area of business, what job you're looking for. What are those things that are going to get people's attention and just sound like you're already in the role, even if you never specifically held that title. So that's how that can work for you. Basically, you want to build your elevator pitch to your own strengths. One more piece of this, the years of experience. Don't let years of experience speak against you. I've had people walk in the room and tell me, oh, well, I only have 1 year of experience in this role. And then I find out that their previous 2 roles were directly related and part of the ladder for them to get there. Group all of it together, all of your working experience, and find those areas of expertise that unite them and show your expertise. But if you really are new to the workforce and you don't have many years of experience, you can just say, hey, I have a background in area of expertise. Recently, I did this thing that you care about. So this structure can work for you in whatever way you need it to. And if anyone has questions about the elevator pitch, feel free to ask them at any time. We're going to move forward. What I will say, if you can master this elevator pitch structure, we can master the entire job search process. Each stage of your job search is just like a slight new version of your elevator pitch. We already saw a lot in the chat that applying for jobs is awful. It is also really painful to hear that for one role, you're getting 1,400 applicants. That means all of us out there really need jobs. And it's just so much harder when we're even hiring to find the right person because there's so much to sift through. So the way we sift through the noise and get past that is by getting referrals from people. Yes, you can apply, but you're going to be one of 1,400. So what we really want to do is go out and start networking, but we want to do it with a little bit of a process. Process begins with a networking call. We convert that networking call to a referral. We start to get invitations to interviews. Even right now, in today's situation, everyone in the cohorts that I am running who is exercising this, they're getting interviews, they're getting job offers. I'm running a job search cohort with 15 people right now. We're in week 4. We've already had a job offer come in and 3 people in interviews and everyone else starting to get their networking calls lined up. These are people who, up until now, over the last few months, haven't been able to land a single interview. So the process starts with landing a networking call. How am I going to land a networking call? Well, you're going to go out and you're going to take some actions every week. That start with that elevator pitch and just kind of turning it into a story that you share out with other people. I'm going to stop sharing my screen in case there are questions here about the job search process itself. Just this idea of we're going to go out and network. We're going to talk to people, have conversations, turn those into referrals. Then we're going to start the interview process. Any questions or challenges to that? Especially if anyone is job searching right now and has already tried this. I'm curious to see what works and what hasn't. And if not, that's okay too. We can just keep on going. Okay. We will keep on keeping on. All right. So I'm going to go network. Lots of different tactics that you can take when you network. The first one that I always say is write yourself a little story. I like to call it a networking blurb. And it's sort of the written version of your elevator pitch. Once you have that written, you can go and use it to do a number of networking tactics all the time. In fact, let's go see if I have some examples of that story. You need your elevator pitch is 30 seconds, but you're going to have a written form of it as well that tells everyone who you are. It can be on your LinkedIn profile, and then you can use it and turn it into short types of messages that you can post in all sorts of places. You're going to want to join 5 active communities. There are a lot of them out there. Slack, LinkedIn groups, Facebook groups, whatever it might be. But you do need a story. And your story is very similar to that elevator pitch. Whoops. Well, let's just do a quick overview of one. So this is someone who was a psychology major and master's student. Pandemic hit, had to drop out of her master's program because they basically shut down all the in-person stuff. She decided to go to coding boot camp because she couldn't wait 2 years to start making money and complete her master's. After completing coding boot camp, she ran into this challenge in her job search, which was, well, now I'm someone with only 8 months of experience coding and this odd background in psychology, and no one wants to hire me. I said, well, that's not true. Let's break down your story and why people would want to hire you. So, some elements of your story. You want to first immediately tell people the value that you add to their company. Hi, I'm a junior software developer. Doesn't matter that this person hasn't held this title yet. It matters that that's their target title, and it immediately announces that to the world. But now that you come out and say that, you need to back it up with some results you've achieved or some experience, right? So all of us are going to think about what is that next step in our career or business that we're targeting, and just announce it. Hi, I do this thing that you care about because it adds value to your business. You'd be surprised how difficult just this piece is for most of us. And so I'm a junior software developer with experience in front end and back end. Notice we don't talk about years of experience there because it doesn't help this person. But what we did find out when we went back and said, what does cross over from those years as a master's student in psychology and the bachelor's in psychology? It turned out this person had done a lot of analytical and technical processes for those 8 years of studying. Analytical and technical processes are quite related to being a software developer. So she gets to use that as evidence. It's not like she just woke up, got some coding skills, and had no experience as a person, right? So, been working with analytical and technical processes for 8 years, and then we'll be transparent. Hey, it was initially during my degrees in psychology. Now the big pivot, where I quickly learned the impact of technology on human life. That's her big why. Our story is going to work in our favor. Some of us, we're in our field, we're experts in our field, and we can just simply tell our story. Hi, I do product development. I've been doing it for this long. Here's where I specialize in product development. For some of us, we're pivoting, and it might look more like this. After you say what you're capable of, you need to get in that key result. For some of us, it can be really short, especially if we're already in the field that we want to be in, and we have a very immediate, quick key result to go to. For someone who's pivoting, there might be a little bit more to share. So for Doro, as I set out to pursue a career in mental health, found myself wireframing apps. Can see some context there. And then we even see a big key result where, developed a process to reduce time from 12 months to 2 weeks. The power of your key results is that no one else can own a specific result you have achieved. It differentiates you and it shows your value. So whatever story you are telling, as long as you have an achievement in there, something quantifiable that you can point to, it qualifies you so much faster than any other word that you could say. You could cut this story down to, hi, I'm a junior software engineer. I recently developed a process that reduced a time frame from 12 weeks to only 2 weeks. In some context, that might be her story, right? But she does have the longer version here. Then you want to humanize it a little bit, let people know about your passion in the world, maybe what you're going to do next. This part is up to you. But when you're out networking and building a relationship, you want people to know you so that they can build a relationship. So she tells a little bit of her story about why she became obsessed with technology, using tools in unexpected ways to make small changes. I knew this person for 7 weeks. She came in desperate, struggling to find a job. 7 weeks later, after she'd joined 3 sessions that I did, talking to all of like we are today about this material, and she landed a software engineering job. So these stories are really important, and there are a lot of ways to get them out there. Now that I kind of went over what a story could look like, I want to take any questions before we dive into how to get the story out there, because that comes into the networking tactics. But the first thing is to realize you have a story, and it starts with your elevator pitch. And then that story turns into a longer version of your personal narrative, and you take that and you go and you conduct a job search. Any questions or challenges thinking about telling your story today that are coming up? This morning in both recruiter and manager interviews cited my cover letter starting with I am. Boom. Blair. Amazing. So you already nailed it. Blair, did you happen to get to introduce yourself with a short elevator pitch as well that kept their attention in the interview? Also, you guys can feel free to join with camera and mic as we kind of talk through some of this. Some of this material just gets really interactive. Jared, I can confirm that most of my interviews came from networking. So to Blair's point, if you go into an interview and you've already sent them a cover letter and then they have it, and then you reiterate that cover letter in that 30 seconds, the shortest version, it's really going to make a strong first impression. So Blair goes in and says, hi, I am the product evangelist, and recently I did this big thing. Do also one other storytelling tactic. Depending on how far you are in your career, you can give one metric or key result, or you can give a cumulative. So I don't know how long, Blair, you've been working with products, but you could come in and say, hi, I'm a product evangelist, been working in this field for X number of years, and I've helped launch X number of products in my career, serving X number of users, and go with a cumulative key result. That's sort of that overarching picture of who you are. That can be really powerful and will just immediately command a lot of attention. Okay, so looks like we get the idea. Networking helps, having that story helps, get it in your cover letter, it'll make you stand out. If we're job searching in today's conditions, what are we going to do once we have that story? You're going to turn it into a networking blurb, which means it's an active thing that's helping you land networking calls. You're going to go out and you're going to join at least 5 active communities across Slack, Facebook, LinkedIn, Discord. I don't care where it is that you hang out, but you're going to find opportunities to get your story out there. This doesn't mean that we all have to be robots and post that big, long 3 blocks that Doro has that maybe, makes sense on her LinkedIn profile to have it there. But in a community, maybe it's just a quick like, hey, everyone, excited to be here. I'm Doro. I'm in software engineering, excited to learn more about all of you. I recently did this thing. Just keep it short and sweet. You can also respond to other people, or you can go out and you can repost materials that leaders you would want to work for are talking about. So when we say reach out to leaders as a tactic, you can do cold outreach. Something else you can do is find materials that they have posted, repost it and comment on it, but make sure to get your networking blurb in there too. So if Andy goes and posts something valuable about all the work you're all doing together as a community, and I'm thinking, oh, I might want to network with Andy. Maybe there's a referral or introduction he can make for me. I'm going to go to his LinkedIn profile and look for something that he said recently or posted about, and I'm going to repost it. Say, oh gosh, love these insights from Andy. This is especially important for me. I've been building communities for the last 10 years, recently launched a community of 8,000 job searchers. Here are my top 3 takeaways from my conversations with Andy, or whatever this thing is that Andy just posted about. And I even do a little call to action. Interested in learning from all of you, how you're thinking about this. Reach out, let's chat, right? So now I've reposted Andy's content. I've invited other people to have conversations about that content, but I also got that networking blurb out there, that key result, that little bit of context that humanizes me and gets people wanting to talk to me. Now that I've done that, anyone who interacts with that post, it's an open invitation for me to go and say like, oh, hey, looks like we're interested in the same things. I saw you're doing this cool work over there at that company. I'd love to chat for a few minutes. And now you also can even go and reach out to Andy, because you literally went and added value to him, reposted his work, got more comments on it, more engagement. And now it's just very easy 2 days later to say, Andy, oh my gosh, the stuff you've been talking about is really important for me in my career. I'd love to pull up for 20 minutes and have that networking call or coffee chat that can lead to a referral. So think about how these tactics can, again, work in your favor and build a relationship. I'm going to stop sharing my screen in case we have any questions, because I'm throwing so much material at you all. So far, you're all really getting it, but I want to check in. Anyone have questions about how you might go and start networking and getting in front of people, whether it's this week or next week, to move forward in your job search or your business? Because this stuff also can apply to business opportunities too, right? How are we going to get new clients or even make new hires? I'll take a look in the chat. And if not, we'll just keep going, but I'll give it a moment. Okay, cool. So we're getting it. We started with an elevator pitch. That elevator pitch has turned into a story. Now that story is a live, active thing. We call it a networking blurb. We're out there putting it out in the world in whatever way that we can. framing it around interesting comment, other people's materials and content, and just trying to start a conversation. So a lot of people say, oh, okay, Malinda, like, first of all, it's scary just to tell my story. Then it's scary to put it out there. And now people are interacting with me and commenting, and I can go and reach out. And the next thing you know, I've got a lot of calls scheduled. What am I going to do on those calls? Good news about those calls. It is mostly about listening and reflecting back. So when I said at the beginning of this, that if you can master your elevator pitch, you can master every step of the job search. This is the next piece of this. As soon as you go out and you land that networking call and you get in front of someone, you'll need to take 15 minutes. And if you introduce yourself with your elevator pitch and let them know you'd like to learn more, and I would like to learn more about you, they'll give some form of their elevator pitch, which sets you up to ask a strong question that gets them talking. Oh, wow. How did you get into that field? Oh, wow. What's the biggest challenge you're working on right now in product? Your goal is to get that person talking, build rapport, engagement, learn what you can. You only need to have that part for like 10 minutes. These networking calls only need to be 15 minutes. A couple minutes in the beginning to introduce yourself, build some rapport, ask a kickoff question to spark a good conversation. And towards the end of that, we come back to the elevator pitch method, the very beginning, where I asked all of you to reflect back what you heard. You're going to do that with this person, but you're going to do it to ask for a business opportunity. So I went and I asked Andy, like, had a quick conversation with him, and now I want to build a relationship and get a referral. I need to reflect back something powerful. Maybe what I learned from him was that, hey, even when a tech system breaks down, he's going to get his community, everybody's engaged, they trust, and they're going to just jump over to Zoom. So I'm going to go and say, Andy, it's been amazing working with you and getting to know your community today. In fact, the fact that there was a technical hiccup and it didn't even matter, and we all got to be in the same place, I know you're the kind of person I want to work with. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send you a brief email, my resume attached. I'd love to talk to the recruiter you trust most over there, whoever it might be. So make sure you do have that in mind. Is Andy the person who might be able to refer you himself or start the interview process? Or is Andy the person who would connect you to a recruiter? So think that through, but go for that ask and make it sound like an offer, like you're reflecting back that person's value. And now you've heard their elevator pitch, and talk to them for 10 minutes so you have something to reflect back. So that very initial stage of the elevator pitch where all you did was reflect back to me something, you all could have come back and used that to ask for a referral. Said, hey, Malinda, wow, that's awesome. You've been out there building in education and tech. You founded a company worth $120 million at Series A. You're the kind of person I want to work with. Hey, I'm going to send you my resume. And if it's for a business opportunity, you can do the same thing. Oh, wow, you've been out there. It sounds like the problems you're working in are so related to what I do. You're the kind of client that I would want to work with. What I'm going to do, send you a quick proposal, some more information about what it looks like to work together. Let's do a follow-up call, something like that, right? Same idea, whatever the purpose is. These methods are relationship building methods that will move a conversation and a relationship forward closer to that business goal, whether it's to land a job or a new client. Okay, I'm going to pause because now I have been talking for so long and there's still so much more to talk about, but I want to check in and find out how you're all feeling about this, because you're all experts in relationship building in your own right as well. Very curious to find out if these tactics have worked for you, if you've thought about them lately for your job search or your business goals, and of course, any challenges to the process. If you're like, I tried that, it didn't work, let's get it out there. If not, we'll just dive into more tactics. There's always more to talk about, but we'll give it a second here. And feel free to chime into the chat directly, or you can join with microphone if you have a specific question that you want to workshop together as a group. And if not, we'll give it a second. And should the fake it to make it method be used to present yourself. Well, I would want to understand, Oliver, why you're okay. Why we even think that we need to fake it till we make it. Really need to update my 15-year-old LinkedIn profile. Yes. Remember, these tools are going to work in our favor. So yeah, we're all going to go and realize the areas that we need to clean up, what we do need to work on. Absolutely. It's going to take a minute to build out these short narratives. Once you do, and it's going to come together pretty quickly. You all know your careers. But yeah, Oliver, I'd want to know why the fake it till you make it. And the reason why I'm asking that is I've definitely heard a lot of people tell me that, well, I don't have key results that will help me in my business or in my career. Every person I've had that conversation with, it turns out that they do in the end. So certainly fake it till you make it verbally. Lack of confidence in presenting yourself, more from, okay, got it. Yeah. Go out and do your elevator pitch with a few friendly people in the community and see what they remember from it. And you'll be surprised at how much that will do for your own confidence and just that simple practice in presenting yourself. Sometimes you know what they want to hear, or you think you do, but you know your honest answer won't be that. Okay. I'd want to dig into that too. Like if this is an interview question, you can turn any interview question into a mini elevator pitch as well. So what I do for interviews for this is I will go and look at a job description, and I'll map out all of the bullet points for that job description, and then I'll map out all of my key results. So it does take some work to identify those key results. They look like statements like this. But when you do go and you look at a job description and use that as a prompt to defend yourself and say, okay, well, I see this thing that I'm capable of doing. Why am I capable of doing it? You'll start to identify the types of tasks that were related to it that you've done and what you've achieved that you can speak to. And it's just about that art of turning it into a result statement. If there was a process that had 10 steps and now it has 8 steps, you just saved the company 20%, right? So anything can be quantified. But in that interview question, if you think you know what they want to hear and you don't think you have the answer, lean into the elevator pitch method. It's a slightly different tactic in interviews. But any interview question that they ask, oh, well, do you have experience working with B2B SaaS products? Hey, I've been working in various product environments for the last X number of years. Recently, I did something with a product, and here's my approach for how I apply that to B2B SaaS products, right? There's always something that you can give back that will give someone a reason to hire you. Even if your answer is, oh, I don't have that exact type of experience, well, tell them how you're thinking about it, how you would approach it. And don't let them put you into a trap of saying that you're not qualified if you know that you are. Go back and talk about that experience, talk about those results that they need to achieve, and build that story for them. That'll come with practice, and we can certainly do more sessions on that topic a little bit later. Today is to just kind of get used to this idea that, hey, right now, to move forward in business or career, it's having that story, building that relationship, and constantly that simple action that we can get people to take to move it forward. I'm gonna send you that email with my resume attached. Would love an introduction to a recruiter you trust most. Hey, you're the kind of client that I want to do business with. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to write up a proposal, a couple ideas of how we can move forward together, and I'm going to get that over to you. I'd love to get your thoughts on it. There's always an action to take. And if you paint that picture and give that action, you're going to wind up being that person who's moving closer to your goals, right? I have to leave in just like 1 minute. So I'm happy to take any questions, comments, challenges to the process that we talked about here today, or any other context that you might want to use this in. And appreciate everybody stepping up and being vulnerable with the things that are challenging within this. Tyler, we're going elevator pitch. Yeah, me too. It's a constant work in process. I look at it as an iterative thing. You know, every time I talk to someone, what is it that I'm going to say that's going to get their attention? So we're all in it together, but once you start doing it, it'll become more natural. Awesome. Oh, so glad you're there with us. Okay, well, I will see you in the roadmap Slack. I dropped my LinkedIn earlier, but Andy, feel free to share my contact information, reach out to me and let me know how the job search process is going for you, or even just moving relationships forward in any context. And yeah, awesome working with you all today. Okay.
I just wanted to come on and say thanks on behalf of the conf committee. Andy had to step away for just a minute. He had really apologizes for that and the technical difficulties as well.
Oh
so
my gosh,
thank you so much for just rolling with it. And I mean, you did a fantastic job. This was so informative. Also, I mean, from the, employer perspective too, I think it was really great. And I think we do, if anybody has any questions, I guess, you've shared all the ways to get in touch with you. And
yeah, let me drop my email in here.
Okay.
Yeah, awesome, Lydia. Okay, well, I am going to let you all go. So good being with you today, and feel free to follow up anytime.
Thank you so much. That was fantastic.